One was Bhagavad Shravan, and the second point that I was talking about was conscious over conscience, and it was basically guilt, Krishna conscious over guilt conscious conscience. So this is just a wordplay. Yeah, and so I'm sure most of you guys were there. Any questions? I'm open to answer. Or, I mean, there are many other people over here who would also like to answer, and be nice. Yeah. I believe many people had questions and they posted them on my Instagram and my Facebook wall. But I just told that that we're gonna have another session. So if you guys wanna ask questions, then yeah. So if you have those questions and you wanna bring it back, please. What is the chat?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hey, Hare Krishna. Is that Krishna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First session, you were mentioning about how our main concentration or focus should be more on the Maha Mantra than just the musical aspect of it.
Yep.
And I was just thinking, I feel like from a youth's perspective, these days it's always about what tune they're singing, who's playing what on the mridanga and what instruments. So I just feel like it's hard to distance yourself from the musical aspect of it. So I just want to ask if there are any ways to help you do that.
Okay, so it's an amazing question, and also I don't know how many of you sat for Sachinandan Maharaj's kirtan today, and he spoke about it in the middle of his kirtan, and he gave the example of a falcon, and he said a perch is like a hand glove, and a trained falcon, he will fly everywhere in the. I mean, I'm just what he said and what I said was very similar to what. So that's why I'm just mentioning it. And he said that the falcon will fly all around, like your mind. It keeps flying, but then when it's time, it comes back and sits on the perch. So basically, he was trying to explain that that's how our mind is. So you have to every time bring it back to sit to be back close. So in a way, the same thing, that the best practice that I feel that you can do is be conscious. That's why chanting is very important. Doing japa, when you chant your rounds, I didn't complete the whole conscious and conscience thing. Many times we get into all these pressures. We get into pressures of what my people will think, what my family will think. Oh, I do kirtan, but I don't chant rounds. So what will they think? And so I need to finish my rounds. And then many times people it's numbers. It's like I have to do 16 rounds, so I do 16 rounds. Or it's it's not a competition. It's not a rat race. We are not trying to, so it's an individual effort, and you have to gradually come to that level. So even if you chant one round, even if you chant 2 rounds, even if you chant 10 rounds, you try to chant those 10 rounds focused, sit in one place or move around, whichever you feel is comfortable. So when you do your japa, and you do your japa with that mentality, and you're aware, you're conscious of your mind running here and there, you will know that you're sitting. I have experienced this so many times when I chant my round, and I'm thinking about with this the program, this what do you call this seminar we had before. I was thinking about this while I was chanting. So I kept telling my mind, no, we'll do all, because see, all these ideas keep coming, and you have to just bring your mind back. You have to make that effort, and more, the more effort you make to bring your mind back, slowly your mind will get used to that focusing the holy name. And once that happens, the amount of your mind flying away and the amount of your focus will start increase. Your focus will increase, and your flying of your mind, your running of your mind will shorten. You understand? So even if you do one round, even if you do 4 rounds, try to do it consciously. Sit in one place or move around, whichever way it helps you. Okay, don't chant while reading or listening or something. No, chanting, that helps you to run away here and there. Your mind, this is multitasking. Chanting is not multitasking. Many devotees do that, which is not really right, which is also offensive, to sit and chant while katha is happening, or chant while when kirtan is going on. So when kirtan is going, focus on the kirtan. So this is how you can integrate japa and help you focus in the name. Like I gave the example of Madhava Prabhu, because it was hard for me to sit for his kirtan. And when I just focused on the holy name, then all these musical abilities just dissipated. It just disappeared for me. So yeah. Does that help you answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So yeah, I had a question while doing kirtan. Like I read it somewhere actually I think in the second chapter of Bhagavatam, first canto. It's just that you should not do kirtan or any sort of devotional service for material gains or material. So how do we, when we do kirtan, how do we not focus on gaining material gains? Because we always look for an outcome, and that usually does not mean it's a spiritual outcome. It can also be a material outcome. So how do we get rid of that actually? Slowly, like how do we do that?
Okay. So one of the things to see, one of the first steps of solving a problem is to figuring out that there is a problem. That's the first step. If you know that this is what I'm trying to get, like many times people are oblivious of these kind of things. So one of the first things is to know that there is a problem. Okay, if you don't realize or don't know that there is a problem, then you will continue on that path, and even if 1,000 people guides you, you will still not get it. Okay, so it's good that if you recognize the problem before, like you recognize the problem is happening. Okay, this is the second thing I would say is, you see Shikshashtakam. I don't know how many of you means this is like Shikshashtakam is like, it should be the the code for kirtan. It should be the main scroll, or shastra or book or something for all kirtaniyas to know. Anybody who is want to participate or want to sing or want to play mridanga should learn from that. And I'm also like trying to listen to more and more about Shikshashtakam, and many people, they have very beautiful explanations. And so in Shikshashtakam it is said, Cheto Darpana Maharjanam Bhava Mahadrava Vagam. So in the prayer, it says Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So it's like cleaning your heart. So it will clean your heart. But the mood in which you do kirtan is mentioned in the end, is that you are my Lord. Even if you kick me away or you accept me, you're still my love, my main worship. So that's the mood that is set. Mahaprabhu mentions right in the end. So this is the mood that we should always, that kirtan should be for Krishna. It should not be for crowd or for melodies or for for pleasing this person, that person, for money, for name, for woman, or so one of the things also, the third point I want to mention with that was Gaur Govinda Swami. I don't know if you know Gaur Govinda Maharaj. Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he is Prabhupada's disciple in Puri. He did a lot of preaching and very, very strong personality. And Gaur Govinda Maharaj said that if you can't cry, then you cry that you cannot cry. You understand? So
Yeah.
you should pray to Krishna that, Krishna, please, I'm not able to do, please help me. So when you do that, then when Krishna sees that you are sincere and you want to make a change, then he walks 10 steps towards you. Even you take one step towards him. You understand? So these are the 3 points. If you can meditate on that all the time, then you will be able to go through these hurdles of kirtan. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, and we all go through it. It's not just, like, I'm not somebody who has already gone through it, or like, oh, I'm, Siddha, I have to also go through it. So it's just, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other question or discussion or suggestion? Is there any questions on the chat?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Who's that?
Hare Kirtan. I'm from Guyana, Prabhu. Probably you do not know me.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Kirtan, Prabhu.
I missed the first class, but I'm not sure if you discussed it. But there's one question I have. Sometimes when we do Kirtan, we may not have the best instrument players and so on. But the mood, I know ideally the mood is not to, have all these fancy instruments. That is not the main focus of Kirtan. But how sometimes we do not have, we know this point, we still get frustrated, during the kirtan that they probably are not playing properly and so on. How do we overcome that and not judge people their level of expertise, so to speak?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
How do we not judge people for their level of expertise and see that they're, probably trying to please Krishna to the best of their ability?
Okay, if somebody is playing mridanga for you or kartal for you, or and they are not playing it properly, or something of that sort, right?
Yeah, Prabhu. How do we see that they are trying to serve to the best of their ability?
Okay, so see, I don't know how many of you know about Ayendra Prabhu's life. It's a 24 years of doing kirtan to come to a really, I would say the butter of his kirtan by the end, or what you guys are able to taste and enjoy, that went by a lot of churning. Ayendra Prabhu didn't, he was doing kirtan. When he did kirtan, he would do kirtan for 10 to 15, 10 to 12, middle of the night. This is how the 24-hour kirtan Vrindavan established. There was not always 16 members to do kirtan. So, and he went through a lot of hardship to establish the 24-hour kirtan party, and which was Prabhupada's mission. Prabhupada really wanted that every single temple should have 24-hour kirtan. But we don't have that, which is very sad, but we have to see, even like Ayendra Prabhu used to say that in the beginning, it was so hard that he didn't have mridanga players many times. Many times there was no kartal players, and many times there were people but that's the thing, you have to be humble. You have to humbly accept what Krishna is providing. You can't be you can't be demanding right you can't be demanding at any point in your devotional service. You understand? So when devotees do that, I wanted to speak about this. There's to two aspects, which is one is you as a kirtan leader and one as an instrument player, or you have to, as a kirtan leader, you have to be encouraging and try to accept whatever is given to you. Many times I travel to places where I don't travel with a mridanga player, so I work with whatever works. And and it's one of my quotes is that there is always another kirtan. It's never, it's kirtan is not a presentation. It is not like I did a kirtan with you guys and I messed up the whole thing and I'm going to be like, oh my God, what I did, man. I just, like this has, like, I brought my prestige down. What will these people think? No, there is always the next kirtan for me to do something for the deities and feel like that I have done a good service. See, when I speak about musical aspects and the attitude of kirtan, I don't really mean that music is not good. Music is also very good. You should give the best to Krishna. You should not be giving, you should give the best of your ability to Krishna. So one of the things I wanted to come to, it was as a singer, accept whatever you get. So if you have a mridanga player who you have never played with, sing. I usually just sing to their level. I can feel in the first few minutes only that, okay, they can't do much complicated stuff or things like that. So I sing on their level. And next thing, as a mridanga player, you have to be a little like conscious about, or a kartal player. You have to be a little conscious that, okay, I am, like many times what happens is a mridanga player is playing mridanga and he's doing good. Say Mukunda is playing and then somebody just walks in and he picks up a mridanga and he starts banging louder. So, and that disrupts this offering. So try to be aware that, okay, I don't know much, but I should learn. So humbly be there and play softly and not so there is that awareness that is important. But as far as anybody is concerned at the starting stage or any stage in kirtan, just be humble with whatever you get. Okay, Prabhu?
Yes, thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you. There's my... Yeah, any other questions? Or should I just go on the questions that devotees had asked me before?
Yeah, I was actually going to read a question.
Yash, yeah, sure. Yes.
Yeah, so this was a question that was asked last time that we didn't actually get to.
Okay.
So it was, when did you realize that Kirtan is much more than just the musical performance? And then what led to that spiritual awakening that caused you to become more serious about it?
So I think association, I think there was some kind of a respect and feeling for Kirtan from a very early stage. While I was doing Kirtan in Bombay itself, I started to see the culture of Kirtan there. I mean, it's every time if I present or say anything, it's because I see this culture of Kirtan. And in Bombay, they had this culture of Kirtan of doing house programs in life members' houses. They have a wedding, or they have a home opening, or bought a new car, or something or the other people have a Kirtan program for. So I used to, and there were like basically, because there's a big life membership. I don't know how many of you know about this, but there's a big life membership program that goes on in Bombay. So a lot of life members call devotees to come home and do Kirtan and Prasadam. Now, what happened during that time is that the kirtan had this attitude of money. They would always have that, you come for this kirtan, they will give you a 500 rupee note, or like 300 rupees, or say give good donation, so the mood for the kirtan was not for doing kirtan, it was donation. So many of the people who were there were going to these programs so that they could collect money rather than do kirtan. So then I personally was I really did not like it. So by that example, I would say that there was a feeling of, you know, that this is wrong, this is not right. So was there. When I came to Vrindavan and I spent time with Ainda Prabhu and I saw his mood regarding money and kirtan, that made it so solid. Like that made the philosophy more solid about what money and kirtan really meant. And then I would say association was one of the main things. I'm fortunate to get a good association and good guidance. Sachinandan Maharaj has been guiding me, Bhakti Vaibhav Maharaj, Loknath Maharaj, Ainda Prabhu. So it's good to be in the guidance of these people, these amazing kirtaniyas, who not only they are not musically, or they are musically amazing, but they have the mood. They know the mood, and they do kirtan for the mood, not for not for name, fame, adoration, money, all these kind of things. So that's what, as a kirtaniya, we say, it's in Shastra, says Mahajanena yena gata sa panta, means to follow in the footsteps of Mahajans, or your Siksha Gurus. So these are all my Siksha Guru, and I've been learning from their example. And that's how, so I would say, like, it would be nice if you associate with them, and they are very open. You understand, they are not very reserved people. You can actually go and approach them, and you can talk to them, and you can but we fear internally, and we don't approach, and we lose that opportunity to I know many devotees who came to Vrindavan, but they were scared to approach Ainda Prabhu, and they say regret it now, that we came to Vrindavan but we couldn't approach. And that's the thing, you have to take the step. So when you have a kirtaniya come, approach him, talk to him, understand, rather than just get stuck with the whole oh, he sings really well, or talk to him, have a discussion, have a normal talk, rather than having that celebrity, Prabhu, your autograph please, Prabhu, your something of that sort. So yeah. Yeah,
I got messaged a question. So
okay,
it says,
it's by does the person,
they want to remain anonymous.
okay,
But they said, as Kirtan leaders, often we become leaders in the youth community. What responsibility does that bear for us as youth leaders?
okay. Yeah, it's a big responsibility, because we are actually now put in the forefront of the movement. So if you see, Kirtan is right in the front. So it is the responsibility of all. I mean, that's why I am trying to talk about Bhagavad Shravan and Nam Jap, so that everybody comes up in the front line with, it's like going to war and you don't have the weapons for war, so how are you, it's like, this is a fight with Maya, and you don't have the necessary equipments to fight with Maya. You don't have the knowledge, and you don't have the the focus, you know. And that's when you don't have these two things, you're just going to, your mind is going to dwindle here and there. And after some time you will start singing filmy songs. And after some time you will, you know, it'll become a status thing. And, you know, this is, so for youth, it's very important because also it's sad, but I've been trying to tell devotees that encourage the older generation also to sing. It's not just the youth to do kirtan. It's not, it's just like, it's like, you know, bache log khel rahe, sorry, the kids are playing. Let them play, you know. It's not that. Kirtan is not a play. Means we enjoy kirtan a lot. We like to be in kirtan a lot. And we develop skills to be in a kirtan a lot. That is true, you know. But Harinam Sankirtan is the Yuga Dharma. It is not just for us, you know, it's for them too. So I always appreciate when older generation are also, or older people are also more into Kirtan, and they, you know, take active role in cultivating. As for youth, it is very important for us to set good standards, because our standards that we set is going to be followed by the next generation. And if we set up standards of Dhanam Janam Sundarim, then the next generation is also going to do the same thing. You're going to do kirtan for wealth, they'll do kirtan for name, and they will do kirtan to attract the opposite sex. So you have to set good standards. And yeah, encourage. And one of the good parts I feel and I like doing is to encourage, even if they are going away, but you can always find a good way to encourage them and bring them back, so that, you know, yeah, so that it's like you are helping, you know, somebody. So yeah, I think that answers the question. Mukunda, you there? I know there is another Mukunda who is Garmarkar. Yeah. So do you have any suggestion, Mukunda?
The question was, well, I forgot the exact question.
What is the role of the youth?
Oh, the youth. Yeah. Because youth that are Kirtan leaders naturally become leaders in their community, right? That was the question. So yeah. I mean, I liked your answer a lot. I was just thinking that I mean exactly what you said, because it's not just kirtan that formulates our Krishna consciousness. It's the Bhagavat Shravan, the Nam Japa, and all of the other all the other aspects of bhakti that come together to make us a wholesome devotee. And I mean, all of us can look at ourselves and we can say that, like, let's say, for example, the only thing that attracts me to Krishna consciousness is kirtan. Mm-hmm. And you can understand, looking at yourself, that your Krishna consciousness is kind of shallow. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't have kirtan, then all of a sudden you have no attraction to Krishna. Mm-hmm. So the leaders that are naturally, you know, kirtan leaders in their community, they need to be encouraging everyone that there's more to our Krishna consciousness than just the kirtan. Kirtan is the most important aspect. Yes. Ultimately, it is our Yuga Dharma, but the way that you make your kirtan really powerful is by having attraction to Bhagavat Shravan, having attraction to reading and hearing about the pastimes of Krishna, and associating with devotees, chanting japa. All of these things make that a substantial attraction. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ratish, you want to add something?
I just joined like a few minutes ago, so yeah. Just ask Gopal. Would you like to add something to that?
Gopal Krishna. My brother is also here. I believe some of you have met him at the retreat.
Hare Krishna, yes, thank you. Yeah, it was. It's a very good question. There have been that Kirtan leaders are becoming youth leaders, and as a youth, we are actually the future of the movement. And therefore, it's a very big question that we all have to step up to, a very big position that we have to take, because people are going to view what Krishna consciousness is by our practices. 10 years down the line, people are going to, some of us sitting right here will be temple presidents and temple commanders and GBCs also. So, you know, they'll be leading through our example. We have to lead through our example, and this is time for us to gear up. So we have a very big burden on our shoulder, but I wouldn't call it just a burden. It's a burden of love. And don't worry, Krishna and our acharyas and our Srila Prabhupada's there to help us with this burden. So it's going to be very, very light and easy. It's just we have to be determined to carry it. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else want to add anything? We can go to the next question.
I see Hari Kansal online. I don't know if he wants to add anything.
Yeah, Hari?
Nothing specific that I can think of.
Okay. Yeah, these
Maybe
are
I'll
like
chime in on later on questions.
Sure. Okay. Next.
I got messaged another question from Anisha.
Okay.
She said, "Hi, Vol, I have a question. So last week you mentioned that the musical aspect of Kirtan is only 10% of the Kirtan, but can the musical aspect help us connect more with Krishna and deepen our love for Krishna?"
So I said 10%. You know, it's not actually a number, but I just put it like that. It could be 5%. It couldn't be 0.01%. I was just speaking about this before, and I feel that devotees should. I mean, it's also seen many times. It's like they have many people I've seen. They demonize kirtan, not kirtan, musical aspects of kirtan, as if not demonized, but like negative. It has a negative aura to it, and they feel that too much music is like is something that the person is not serious, or it's like yeah. So I would say that as not just kirtan, anything you are creative at, we should be offering Krishna one of the best things. It's so I always explain this as I explain kirtan as a deity dressing, the decoration of the deities. And you have different ways of decorating deities, and you have seen that in the Mangalarti time, you have less garland, few decoration, very simple, but beautiful. So kirtan can be simple and beautiful. At the same time, it could be very, very opulent and like creative and beautiful, like festival deity dressings and all. I feel that doesn't matter if you can do kirtan very good or you can't. I feel that devotees should work on the mood. If you can work on that mood, even if you are the best singer, if you have the humble and you have the right attitude to do kirtan, then why not? And one of the stories that I remember is of Shabri. I don't know how many of you know from Ram Leela. And Shabri, she ate the grapes or bear to feed Ram. She wants to give the best, so she is tasting it and she's giving him jhuta, but I'm not going to the jhuta part. Like jhuta means the what do you call it? Muchi, or already eaten. I'm going to the part that she's trying to find the best to serve the Lord. That's the mood. She wants to give him the best that she has. So yeah, so music is that. So if people work on the mood is much, then that's what Andrew always said, understand my mood. You understand my bhav. He never said understand my melody or understand my, techniques, no, he always said understand my mood. So that means there is an underlining foundation which is much stronger than the whole creative aspect that we can see, and that's his bhav, that's his mood that he presents through kirtan. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I had one question.
Yes.
This is Vishaka Sakhi speaking. I come from a temple community with a lot of younger children who are very enthusiastic about participating in kirtan and like playing the instruments. But at the same time, many of our temple members have a standard or an expectation of their kirtan experience, and the involvement of the children seems to be disrupting it. So how can we, as the elder youth, balance the involvement of the enthusiastic children whose confidence is so fragile, and at the same time maintain the standard of kirtan?
Okay. So I have traveled to Dubai, and Dubai Kirtan Festival, they organize this Kirtan Rasa Festival. It's like around 4,000 to 5,000 people attend this Kirtan Festival. And so they have the Kirtan Festival, and there are a lot of kids who are like, like 7 to like 15 and 18, like that, and they are still learning, and they are there for the Kirtan Rasa Festival, which is, and they sit for Kirtan. They don't pick up any instrument. They've been requested that please don't let the devotees do. And the organizers organize another Kirtan festival. It's called Bal Kirtan Mela. So this Kirtan festival is for them, and they have the whole like mridanga players, and they have the whole what do you call live videos, and they put like, so the kirtan, the kids, they get more encouraged to do kirtan in that way if they are like going to disrupt kirtan. But that was one way I saw, if you could integrate that, or you can find a way to organize like a small kirtan festival for them, so that they are also more encouraged in doing it. Because if you try to teach kids etiquette of kirtan, I don't think anybody is ready to accept it. So you have to encourage them in a different way. That was more like, I don't have any other suggestion. Anybody who can give a suggestion that they have experienced and applied? Okay.
We've done a similar thing here in Vancouver.
Okay.
Kind of like a Bal Kirtan Mela. For all the kids, basically, because now there's so many here, and they're all learning, and they're learning at different stages and levels. So they've just kind of had, a whole day, like a 12-hour thing, where, every 15 minutes, every 30 minutes, they come and they do, and that kind of encourages them in that way.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to add, as like a question, is here what I've been seeing in my limited experience. Here's what I've seen, is that generally in North America there is this culture of the people who are joining ISKCON, like the new devotees and stuff like that, and even the older ones, are generally coming from parents that are not born here. They've come from India and they've come from a hyper competitive environment, and they come here and they're also in a hyper competitive workplace and career. And that kind of translates into how they raise their children as devotees, is that the mood is very difficult because to establish, because from parents it's coming, they like, oh, dekho Sharma ji ka beta kaisa kar raha hai, how he's doing kirtan, how good he's doing kirtan, right?
Yeah.
That look at his mood, look at his humility, look at all this kind of stuff, right? It's like, oh, he can do, your brother was doing when he was 10, you're not doing yet, kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of pressure, and that kind of comes from that kind of ingrained feeling of that. And so, and it's tough to break out of that. Like, how do you mentor those kids to be like, look, what your parents are saying is wrong technically? Like, you know, like how do you say that what your parents are saying is wrong? So essentially what I've seen is that you kind of say, okay, you know, like what you want, where you're at right now in your headspace is that I need to be X amount of good. I need to learn X beat of Mridanga. I need to learn X tunes, this many of this many of that. So, and what I've seen personally in my experience, of course, you've had more of this, so enlighten us on if you've seen this happen, is that generally the people who start off that way, okay, I need to be this good, I need to be, you know, my goal is to be the best Mridanga player in the state, etc., etc. Eventually, as they learn and grow, they get to a point where they start realizing that there's more to kirtan than just that. And that's what I've seen. And so I try not to tell, you know, these younger kids that their parents are wrong. And if your driving force is to be better than the other kids, then go for it for now. Over time, life and the temple and lectures and everything will teach you. But what do you think? Like, have you seen that pan out well, or have you seen it that it in general it doesn't pan out?
I usually don't approach the parents because you know, I mean, the parents have this that my child is always good kind of thing, and sometimes if you try to say that your son just comes and makes noise or does something like that, then you know they want to choke you. So you have to be a bit like you know. Whereas I mean, I see this. I'm not saying I see this happen many places. It's also difficult because you can't teach children philosophy. You can't really show them, and they're like you know those they're like monkeys. They follow what you do.
Yeah.
You know, if you do something, they will do the same things. You know, so I mean, please, don't take offenses, anybody. You know, but you know, I'm a monkey too from Vrindavan. So, anyways, so they don't have the understanding to understand every single, you know, and I will not be able to reach out to them and connect to them that this is what kirtan is for. And you know one of the ways I found a good way to do is to do kirtan off time. See, there is rules and regulation made. The temple has Vishaka Saki was just saying that the temple has made some kind of like a structure, and they don't like include the they don't want the kids to do things around that time. So it would be nice to do kirtans at the off time. And I know it is very hard in America because everybody comes to the temple at the same time. Everybody comes on Sunday. And it's like, you know, it's a very different scenario than I'm in Vrindavan. We have kirtan 24/7. And we want to change the mood, then we go on a different slot. If somebody doesn't want us to do this time, we go on another place. Yeah. I know for sure at one temple this had happened. This is when Ainul was getting really popular amongst the youth, and they were doing kirtan, and many of the youth were like to do Ainul style, but the temple management didn't like it because again they were into they've been trained like that, or they don't accept different styles. For them, they are so boxed. And why don't you sing like Prabhupada sayings, or that kind of, why don't you sing simple, why don't you sing like Madhava Prabhu, or why don't everybody has their creative original being, and they want to do that. Anyways, so in this temple, that's what happened. And then the youth, what they did, they just went, and the temple had a rule, don't do. And many times devotees used to stop doing kirtan in the middle of the kirtan, which really disrupts people's mood. When somebody is doing kirtan, you just disrupt it. It doesn't come out, connect. So the youth, what they started doing, they went out and they started doing kirtan as on the streets. And a few of them formed together, and 5-6 of them do kirtan. I'm not going to tell where this is, but they are good leaders in this movement right now, the way I see them. And not only do they lead good kirtan, they have good mood also. So, so in that way, you can, as a leader, you can find an off time where they can come and do kirtan and encourage. I know that many of the youth I've seen the youth from Montreal. These guys, I see Abhay is here, and many other are there. And these guys are, they're like fired up, and they just like, and they have a mridanga player and then kartal player, and and like they find their place and they just sit and do kirtan. And I'm not sure if they have problems from the temple or whatever, or any pressure or anything. But I think they have been able to grow because they have so much enthusiasm and they find their time to do kirtan. So there's like so many answers on many levels I just gave out. So, yeah. Any other questions?
I got messaged a few more, actually.
Sure. Yeah.
What do we do if the youth like to do different types of kirtan or more complicated styles of kirtan, but the temple adults only prefer a traditional, simple style and discourage anything else?
Yeah, so there I answer the question. You can go and do it at another place. It doesn't matter. You are doing it for Krishna. Your heart is clear. You can go and sit in a different place or a different time and do kirtan. If devotees don't like it, that's their loss. If they don't like that, because they are preferencing, they make preference that this is the kind of kirtan I like. I like Madhava's kind of kirtan, so I don't like Ayandru's kirtan. This is the thing. If people don't, that's why it's very important to be conscious in kirtan. So the name is important. I am also, and I was also like that, but I'm working hard to be able to love everybody's kirtan, even if it is a newcomer who don't know how to sing Hare Krishna Mahamantra properly. But to hear the Hare and Krishna and Rama from a person is the most important thing. So kids can find other places where they can go and do kirtan. And, so that answers that question. Yeah. I believe there's more questions.
Yeah, there's a few in the chat. This is from Hangi. She says, when you do kirtan and you meditate on different deities, have you experienced different moods as well?
Yeah. Means, for me, every Radha Krishna is Radhe Shyam from Vrindavan. So, I don't, because everybody has their personal connection, and my always personal connection has been to Radhe Shyam and Krishna Balaram. And when I do kirtan, and I remember them in the end, but for me, when I see Radha and Krishna, they are non-different for me. And when it comes to, I don't think I meditate on on different deities and have like I meditate to do kirtan like I'm sitting in Vrindavan and doing kirtan. So that's my meditation, and the more I hit that, that's my feel that I have successfully like taken my mind to Vrindavan. You understand? It's like, like I usually think about this, and I feel like I felt it when I went to do kirtan at Radha Govinda temple, and I just felt that Vrindavan was just like building around me. I could feel the same atmosphere. So that makes me like, that kirtan makes me very happy because, that I was able to remember Radheshyam, and, but it's like it's very personal, but I don't have any, for me, all Radha Krishnas are Radheshyam Sundar. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just gonna keep reading from the chat.
Yeah, go on.
But this one was anonymous. It says, what are your thoughts or advice for females in a male-dominant kirtan who are trying to take up non-stereotype roles and instruments, but are discouraged, but are faced with discomfort, disapproval, and discouragement from other male participants and even other females?
Yeah, I was talking to my wife about this a few days, like 2 days ago, and it's really sad. It's not a recent thing. This has been going on since 30 years. Mother Yamuna had to go through this, and Mother Yamuna is a big example for us in kirtan. For me especially, she is one of my I have a lot of respect for her humility and acceptance of what Krishna gives. I know that, and one of the aspects also, you have to see that I've seen it in two ways, and I have expressed this to my wife also. There is two aspects to it. One is the musical ability side. I'm not saying that women can't rock a kirtan. They can rock a kirtan. But when there's so many men and the kirtan, what they rock is just like I don't know how many of you understand. I think most of you might understand when Mataji sing, the boys have to sing lower. For us, like for their high notes is like, for us it's like our normal notes, and that's what is one of the aspects that really in singing, that really like doesn't have a like the whole response, the powerful response that is there. But I've seen some of the kirtaniyas like Tulsi, like Jahnavi, like Achyuta, they push it and they bring it to that level of kirtan. And when it comes to choosing instruments, I would suggest that for all guys, encourage. I've seen that happen over here in Alachua also, is to integrate in the sense, encourage, give a kartal, or so that you encourage the girls to sing or to play an instrument, and I mean, I've seen that in Chicago. I mean, I forget the girl's name. What's her name? Mukunda? She plays really good mridanga.
Sundari Radha.
Sundari Radha.
Also, Shruti, I was also going to say to that point, I mean, just to this discussion of boys and girls, kirtan and stuff, in a lot of cases, the boys kind of naturally dominate everything. But one thing that happened in Chicago at a certain point was the youth were asked, boys should only do kirtan with boys and girls should only do kirtan with girls.
Yeah.
And obviously we were younger. We were like, we did not like that at all.
Yeah.
And for the boys, it didn't really make much of a difference because we all knew how to play the instruments. The girls had to learn everything kind of at that point. Like they really had to like buckle down and start to learn. Mm-hmm. And now, people, I don't know how many of you are aware of the girls in Chicago, but Shruti, my wife, Sundirada, Shirupa, all of them are amazing kirtaniyas, like like Mridanga players, harmonium players. So maybe there's something to be said about just take it into your own hands kind of, and, you know, form your, just like Kirtan Premi was talking about how the adults are not encouraging us to sing the tunes we want to sing in the temple. Then go outside and sing. Okay, now the girls are saying the boys are not encouraging us to do our instrumentalization or whatever. They're not encouraging us to get more involved. Okay, now girls, take your group and do your thing. So, I mean, that's just my opinion, but yeah.
Well, I've seen this, there are so many, like, this time traveling, I saw so many nice girl singers. I mean, I would say, Aditi, and many of you guys, the time is changing. I have seen such wonderful girl singers and instrumentalists, and, you know, I mean, of course, the boys are good too, you know, but I am seeing that the balance is changing now. It's not becoming a whole male-dominated thing. So it is changing, and I can see that happening. And I feel that the senior youth have encouraged, you know. So in a way, like I know Kalindi from Chicago, no, from Houston, from Dallas. Yeah, she plays really good mridanga. She sings really good, and like we've been doing kirtan like since 2004, 2003. Me, her, and one more boy, we used to go to Bhajan Kutir and sit and do kirtan every night for like 2-3 hours. And like we didn't have that. I mean, for us as boys, we never had that segregation and that kind of pressure. But I know for sure that these girls have encouraged more girls, and now it's changing. Now we are getting a good balance of both. Yeah.
Okay, I think there was another question on the chat by Rinda. She was asking, while leading Kirtan, how can we train or fix our minds on the holy name instead of thinking about gaining fame due to praised Kirtan that the singer has led?
You have to sit and do the same same exercise again and again. You have to keep like whacking your mind and be like, come back. You know, we can do all this later. We can think about all this other time, but you know, also if you know that you are thinking about all these things, I'm trying to understand the question, like in whose side is like, it's the person who is doing the kirtan, or the person who is listening to the kirtan? Fix our mind on the holy name instead of thinking about gaining fame due to the praised kirtan that the singer has.
The leader.
It's a leader, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like, well, two things. Again, first is always give your whatever you think is gonna, your fame and praise that is gonna get, just transfer it forward it to your guru, and be like, yeah, because of your mercy, I'm doing this. I don't have any qualification. And the second thing is always bring your mind back and be like, no, that's not what I want. This is what I want. I want to be able to sit for a kirtan and chant every single mantra. That's the goal that I set for this kirtan. I've heard Sachinandan Maharaj say this multiple times. When he says, when you sit for kirtan, just pray in a beginning, and you just say that I want to chant the whole time. I don't want to, like many times you feel like, oh, if I don't focus, then I will not enjoy the kirtan, and that's what I like. I like the enjoyment, the fun of the kirtan. No, it's not true. You have to try it. I have tried it, and I have enjoyed more Madhava Prabhu's kirtan, and I have enjoyed to do, to sing and listen to the kirtan. So I was happy by the end that I did that.
No way.
Huh?
Just kidding.
Yeah. No, I will tell you. That's why I put that example out there, because I know many of us go through that, and because we like that fast-paced kirtan, and we can't handle this really slow and like stretched, and when is the melody going to change? He sang for half an hour that same melody. I know, because it goes on in most of the people's mind, so yeah. Does that answer, Brenda?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes, Mukunda Prabhu.
It's a technical question though.
Yes.
How do you get a nice vibrato?
I think there's a few practices, and I think you get a lot of YouTube lessons for that to get a good vibrato. I would suggest, if you do, then try to find a Hindustani classical ones, not a Western classical ones, because Western classical ones have many different versions, and yeah. So if you're doing kirtan, and I have seen some of these devotees, they sing the classical that kind of vibrato, and it sounds very weird with kirtan. So I mean, you can do it. Like I would love to hear all different styles of kirtan, but I would say, if anybody wants to learn, then find out from there. I am not a genius on, or I don't know it very well. I do it out of just like that. Yeah. Somebody asked about alap. Who was asking about alaps?
So yeah, I think we'll take 2 more questions. I think someone's about to message a question, but in the meantime, since we're already on the topic of technicality, they asked, how do you do a beautiful alap?
Who is that? Mr. iPhone. He's been coming in and going out so many times. I think it took a long time for me to also learn alap. As far as my knowledge is, I actually don't. If you listen to my alaps, most of my alaps are very similar. Simple understanding of alap. Alap in Hindi means to call. So you sing, and then you call or reach out, or so it's basically the same thing, the mantra. You have to understand what I call as patterns or designs or ragas. If you know the raga and the way the raga goes, or the way the mood, the melody is going, you have to just stretch it and add alankars at different places. I don't know if you know what alankars are. Alankars means embellishments, or like that. That's embellishments. So mostly it's all stretched mantras. So if you start, you go Hare Krishna, Hare, and everything goes on beat. It doesn't go off beat. Sometimes it falls off, but it comes on beat. So if you see, it starts and it ends at a place. It takes time to master it. It is very, I would say, you figure it out early is good, but I would say don't focus on that much, because it's not like, personally, I do like maybe 2 alaps in a kirtan or 3 alaps, So most it's kirtan. So because it was a technical question, I would just say that, like, practice and listen to many people. Ayendra Prabhu has his own way of doing alaps or alankars. Lokna Maharaj has his own ways of doing alaps and alankars. And what I did was I was mixing them both, and that's how I figured and I found my ways of doing things. And many Bengali alap singers and things like that. If anybody wants, I can put a link over here of these guys. Don't follow them, just listen to the kirtan. It's alap kirtan fully, and beautiful mridanga playing, beautiful alaps, and you can understand what's going on, and you can learn from that also. Yeah. What's up, Govinda? What is Govinda asking? Okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to scroll up in this chat at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's actually one question that came in anonymously. The question is, how do we get out of getting bored? How do we get out of getting bored of the same tunes, but enjoying the same tune still?
Again, the same thing. Focus in the name. It is rise up from the melodies. That's the thing. Beats, melodies. When you focus on the name, everything it'll disappear on its own. And I don't know how people get bored with melodies, because melodies is like every time I'm hearing somebody or the other making a new melodies, or some melody is coming from somewhere. So I don't think you can ever get bored with melodies. Maybe you get bored with a singer singing that melody, but I don't think you'll ever get bored with a melody. Yeah. It's melodies coming. Yeah. Any other questions? Any comments?
I have one question.
Yes.
I was curious to know like how you joined the 24-hour Kirtan and how you got to know Ayendra Prabhu and have his association.
So, firstly, I would say that I never joined the 24-hour Kirtan department in that way. I'm very there were very few people like me, like Varun, and a few more of us who lived outside and be part of the 24-hour Kirtan party, come and assist. We were not exactly in the ashram. So I slept in the ashram a couple of times because I would do late night shift, and but I had my own place in Vrindavan. So when I moved to Vrindavan in 2008, and that's exactly when Amal came also, to 2008, Kartik. Amal came, I was there, Nikki was there, Nakula, and there was one more devotee named Surari from New Orleans. So 4 of us used to do night shifts. We used to do the 10 to 1 slot. And that's when we met Ayendra Prabhu. And in our group, these guys were like very intimidated with Ayendra Prabhu, so they would not really approach him very easily. But I was not like very shy, so I would just knock on his door and go to him, talk to him, and we would finish our kirtan by like 10 to 1 o'clock, and then Ayendra Prabhu would finish his DD worship, and then we would go and get some prasadam from his DD service, and so I feel like Ayendra Prabhu was very kind at me, and he included me in the kirtan department, and he saw me as part of the department, and like he would always encourage me even after I was staying outside. I remember one time I asked him that, Ayendra Prabhu, seriously, just give me a slot, give me 2 slots. I will do it very, very strictly. But Ayendra Prabhu said, because you live outside, I cannot take your responsibility. So you can come and do whatever slot you feel like, but I cannot take your responsibility. So that time I felt like I was not really part of the 24-hour Kirtan group. But then later I could see he was like more encouraging, and he wanted me and Amal to come and sit next to him and sing. So we were more like his backup singers with him. And then Gopal and Vrindavan were the Mridanga players. So that was our like circle around him. Yeah, and he was very encouraging. He always encouraged me to be there. He would ask many devotees also, where's Kirtan or where's Keshav at that time I was, and you know, so yeah, I feel he accepted me rather than I, you know, initiated into it. So I feel that was good, and I found that he encouraged me a lot. I was doing music from a very young age. School days, I was doing music. We were doing all like different kind of music competitions, and I used to go and I have no formal education in music, but just doing all these and we had I doing all this like competitions and all, and we had some amazing kirtan leaders in Bombay. So listening to these people, I've been around kirtan for a really long time. But yeah, he was, I would say, Ainabhu was very, that's why I feel, and I encourage youth. I know me and Mukund, we always talk about it, and we spoke about it because of this one boy who, you know, wanted to play guitar, and I was like trying to encourage him to come and play guitar, and you know, we were gonna get into like a fired up kirtan, and we did like a fired up kirtan, and then he was like, you are so like, what did you say, like forgiving? No, you just like accepting.
You're too encouraging.
Encouraging, yeah. And I feel Ainabhu encouraged me so much, so so this is one of the things as leaders, I would say, when you are already leaders, I never think you're the future. I think the future is already here. So I always say that always encourage the next generation, so that, you know, I never got encouraged from other people, but Ainabhu really encouraged me. So yeah. And since then I've been in Vrindavan. Since then I've been serving the 24-hour kirtan in whichever capacity I can. Yeah. Thank you.
We're actually 15 minutes over time now.
Sure.
I think there aren't really any more questions, but anyone else who has any questions can, I think as you said last class, you can message Kirtan Premi on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he'll do his best to respond.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. This was really great. It was nice to have some question answer time.
Yeah.
We just have a few more announcements before we, Okay, so we just have a few more announcements before we wrap up. We have a new newsletter that has come out recently. It came out, I think, last Wednesday. It's on our website. It'll have like recipes, kirtans, and all that stuff. Go ahead and check it out. We also have an internship that ends on April 30th. So you have a few more days to get your applications in. And our next program will be with RT Swami on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. So, and any recordings, like we said at the beginning of this, they're on our website again, sanghainitiative.org. And I think that's it. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I hope I will be able to see you guys at different places. Yeah. Thank you very much. Haribol.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.